Welcome there, listeners. Welcome to a new episode of the podcast Ademverhalen, which would be a freely translated name of taking a breath and stories, or making breathtaking stories. And today I have an English session, and it's a guest I met working in a retail store, and he saw I was having a YouTube podcast and reached out like, "Hey, are you looking for any guest?" And we had a little conversation. I felt like, let's give this a shot. So today, I'd like to welcome Ungel Osgel.
Yeah,
Now I'm saying it right.
almost perfect.
Almost perfect. Yeah,
Almost perfect.
almost perfect. Welcome, man.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah,
I mean, the first time we had the conversation at the retail store, I felt like, I don't know, it was kind of like random, but we had like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes chat.
yeah,
So it was like quite nice. And I saw you doing a podcast. I was like, why not do the first one with him? And yeah, here we are.
yeah.
And again, thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out because it's also a tiny step for me outside of my comfort zone, doing the first one in English. And it's been a while since I did these things in English. But let's just start how I normally start, I think. How are you doing right now?
I'm doing well, I guess. Yeah, I just landed here yesterday, and yeah, I just had like a good night's sleep, I guess. So it's perfectly fine. And now after the podcast, I'll just go home and cook some cookies with
Yeah.
my roommates. I'm quite excited about it as well.
Nice.
But more importantly, I think this podcast is, as I said, when we were having the conversation before starting, these last 2 weeks, I guess, were kind of like quite important for me, in which I came into like a few realizations about what I'm doing, with my life and stuff like that. So I think it's right, like the perfect timing to do this podcast.
Yeah,
So yeah, quite happy about that as well.
nice. And what you say is some realizations about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Is there anything you feel like you could share about what you're doing, or what feels
Yeah.
right, or what kind of reflections you had about it?
Absolutely. So let me first introduce myself,
Yeah.
I guess. So I'm 22. My name is Öncel. I'm Turkish. I just moved here 4 years ago to Amsterdam for studying, of course.
Yeah.
Ended up graduating from high school in Istanbul. Then moved here for university with my, I think, best friend.
Yeah.
And we've been living together for the past 9 years, so it's quite nice. And currently I have like two companies. One is just the dental marketing agency. I think pretty much everyone is like quite familiar with. And we also have a software company that we're doing with our high school friends. One is my roommate, as I said. And for the past, let me just move back. And since graduating from high school,
Yeah.
I felt like I just wanted to do something different, compared to other people, because I'm coming from I'll be honest, like a really high ranked high school in
Yeah.
Turkey, and what I realized is that the competition there was kind of like hurting people and was not so good for the minds and the health and stuff like that. So I always felt like I want to just stay away from this competition of just getting good grades, going into a Ivy League school in
Yeah.
the US.
So
And
that's something you didn't want.
yeah, I didn't want.
Yeah.
Of course, like since other people around you are doing this exact same thing, let's say like almost all of your friends, it's quite hard to stay away from the competition, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was just gonna go to a university in Shanghai, China,
Yeah.
NYU, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not competing anymore. I'll just go to Amsterdam and try to do my thing. And while graduating, we were just, interested to do some e-commerce stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we tried them. I just basically fell in love. So I just, building something that you own like by 100%.
Yeah.
Felt like something amazing to me. So since then we've been like hustling, I guess if that's the right word.
Yeah.
We've been trying to build some, companies, products and stuff like that. And here I am. So going back to the question, the realizations, yeah. So for the past 4 years, as I said, I was constantly, grinding, getting good grades at the university.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't really let my mind go off the responsibilities I have, and this kind of like hurt me, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't going out, I wasn't hanging out with the friends, I wasn't spending any reasonable amount of time with the loved ones around me. And when I just like so I graduated last year, I mean the summer, and so this year I don't have to go to school, like I don't have to stay here like 365 days a year. So I just went back to Turkey to spend some time with my brother
Nice.
for like I don't know, maybe like a month.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, I mean, you don't really have to, like, so if you're trying to build something, like no matter if it's like a podcast like this one, a company, software company, or even just like a cookie shop, as I
Yeah.
said, I think it's important to get the first thing, like the most important thing straight, which is being human
Yeah.
and fulfilling the human needs, which is love and being in the right mindset, the peace of mind.
Yeah.
And then you can like move on with the rest of the things, just building a company, chasing monetary goals and stuff like that. So in short, it wasn't short, but the realization was basically this.
Basically, that would you say being human, that you first need to have your building blocks
Yeah.
properly organized, and
Hmm.
then business and let's say monetary goals are secondary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what are these building blocks? And you also mentioned like having a peace of mind. How do you create these things for yourself?
Hmm. I think it depends on like who you are
Yeah.
and from what background you're coming. And but like as I say, it can be different for everybody. But in my personal opinion, my thing is just I live for providing for the people I love and being with them. Spending some quality time with them. And so for that reason, my first need is, which I just recently realized, is just being around the people that I love.
Yeah.
So it just gives me the peace of mind. And work becomes way more enjoyable because I know that like once I'm done with this like working block, I can just go spend time with the people that I love. And since that's the thing that I enjoy the most in this life, it just gives me a peace of mind, makes my work more productive. And then I can focus on the rest of the work, right? If I don't get the first part right,
Mm-hmm.
which I try to do for 4 years straight, you
What
come in.
what you try to do? Get the first part right or the company?
No, the company,
Oh yeah, yeah.
without caring about the first
Yeah,
part,
yeah,
without
yeah.
caring about being human,
Yeah.
you know. And I tried to do just the company and the monetary stuff for
Yeah.
4 years, and I realized it didn't like make me happy at all, and it actually pulled me into a point in which like before going back to Turkey, I think in December, I was like feeling almost like desperate, if that's the right word,
Yeah.
in terms of feeling the peace, feeling good, feeling happy. But now I just realized what I need, and from now on, I'll try to work on that part.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it makes me I think happy might be even a word, and I really appreciate what you share. Also hearing your story, and at a young age already have this insight of, hey, I don't want to compete. I don't want to just go to the Ivy League. Okay, I can go to NYU University,
Yeah.
but that's not what I want. And then I feel you. I feel your authenticity in that. Like, this is what I want. This is where I need to go, and then follow that feeling, and dare to take your own steps and go to a different country, go to Amsterdam, start your own business. I'm like, hell yeah! I'm really
Nice.
happy you make these steps. I feel you, and I love to have that sense with a fellow human being. That I'm like, I think you're on
Yeah.
the right track, and you're doing great things. And
Thank you. Absolutely
in
appreciate
some
it.
sense, I think this is. I think people of our age might go through,
Yeah.
even though I'm 31, you're 22. There's a bit of a gap, but I think they call this the quarter life
Hmm.
crisis, which can come with desperation. With me, it came with a lot of helplessness and what do I need to do with my life? Because I also didn't want to continue in that sense of investment bank consultancy
Hmm.
competition.
Yeah.
But then already now, while you're working on your own business, realizing, hey, family and having lovely people around me is actually feeding me and making me do my job better. I think this switch is so important that it's first getting these basic blocks right, and then you'll do better at your job instead of the other way around. If I first need to work harder and get more money, and then I can spend time with the things I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on your side. I love that that realization.
Yeah. So the thing is, I mean, so like we started off speaking with like speaking about the business side and stuff like that, but I think there are a few reasons why people start businesses. It's either because of desperation
Yeah.
or inspiration. That's what other people say. In my part, like I think it was more of like desperation,
Okay.
because money is, of course, like everyone wants money, right? I mean, more money doesn't really hurt unless it's at a point in which like it starts to mess with your mind, your uh culture and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, what I realized like graduating was that like, so I left home when I was 14
Okay.
for high school. So I went to a totally different city, which I've never experienced, like living there.
Yeah.
When I was 14. So it was like a huge thing for me to leave my parents, my brother. I actually have a twin brother, by the way.
Oh,
So it was quite hard for me.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and then just moving here after graduating, now totally a different country. I felt like, I mean, if I was to chase the way other people are chasing, the investment banking and working at, I don't know, some like huge consulting companies, I, even though I could like make the money part right,
Mm-hmm.
I could like make decent money every single month. I wouldn't have time, or I wouldn't have like holidays to spend time with my parents, with my friends, with my brother.
Yeah.
So that's why I chased the other way, just creating something of your own. So,
Yeah.
and something that's online, so you can just go back home and do your work there. You can just move to like other part of the world, and you can still continue doing it. That was like my kind of like desperate point, which is being alone.
Yeah.
And now just like coming back from spending some really amazing time with the friends and with my brother, I just realized that that was the right decision for me, and I'll try to improve on the part that I just mentioned, which is being human straight, and fulfilling the basic needs first
Yeah.
before spending so much time thinking about, oh, how do I make more money, how do I get this business up and running and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting story. Like there are multiple questions that arise when you
Yeah.
share all of this. But the first that came to mind and that's coming now is about you mentioned that you left home at 14,
Hmm.
even though you have a twin brother. I can imagine that is hard. If you look back now and maybe you can recognize how it was like back in the days, what did it bring you? Like I can imagine it can teach you a lot.
Yeah, like living alone when
Yeah.
you're 14. Yeah, I mean, I owe everything that I have right now
Yeah.
to leaving home like when I was 14, because
Okay.
my friendships, I mean, my inspiration to
Yeah.
do the things that I like, I mean, building companies and stuff like that. Because when I was a kid, I was just like, I was just eating fast food, I was just, there are a few foods that I like preferred eating. I wasn't eating anything besides those. And I was basically, I don't know how it's like called in English, but
Yeah.
uh
How
I
is
was
it called in
just,
Turkish?
yeah, just so soft,
Oh yeah.
against life. So um I mean, I couldn't even like fulfill my own needs as a person
Mm-hmm.
through daily life without my mom being around. Okay, that's how
Ah.
I'm gonna be explaining it. And when I moved, I didn't want to, when I just registered with the school, I didn't want to go there. So I was just kind of like making excuses in my mind to just go back after like a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I cried a lot during that summer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
A lot, I mean, immense amounts of
Yeah.
crying, I guess. And then I just, met my roommates at the time in which we were like living together with 6 people, including me.
Yeah.
Then I realized all those people were in the same shoes as I do. So I mean, we just became the family of each other, you know.
Yeah.
After some time, I just realized it's not really a bad thing. You now have like another family as well, and you know, you basically learn how to survive, right? Washing your clothes, like doing the laundry, you know, taking care of your own health, because no one is just looking for you out
Mm-hmm.
there, right? And um and yeah, and since then, as I said, like we built the companies with my high school roommates. So
Yeah.
we're three people, and we've been like, with one of them, I've been living together since then. I think this is our ninth year, sorry. And with the other one, who's living in Finland, but we're
Yeah.
still are the best friends. And that's why I owe everything that I have right now to living home at 14. And the other thing is, looking back at like other people, um, who never left their like comfort zone
Yeah.
at all, like still living with their parents. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think there are a few things that you'll need to learn on your own and go through that journey on your own, so that you can build your own personality rather than being stuck to what other people kind of like um, dictates on you. You know, if
Yeah.
that's the right word.
Yeah. I get you. It feels inspirational, so I'm really happy to hear. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was not my experience, but I can imagine if you get there on your 14th and you can see it. You cried a lot, what you said. So that is the
Mhm.
pain maybe of missing family. But
Mhm.
then being there and seeing, hey, we're all in the same boat. Basically like life to me. Once you are in an uncomfortable position and you find someone else that is going through the same, then oh, we're all going through the same thing. Maybe that's also what I want to create with this podcast. Um, I'm like, yeah, you got it. You're on the right track, and I like that. And then I want to
Thanks.
say like having that leaving early at 14, building your companies now. Where do you want to go in life? What are now the important things for you to focus on? Like you
Mhm.
mentioned my primary things, but let's say and I don't want to make it a job interview with that question, but
Yeah, no
like
worries.
let's
That's
say in
fine.
5 years, what would be your focus point as a human being, but maybe also as what you want to bring into life?
Yeah. So the thing that I value the most is, as I said, people around me.
Yeah,
Whether it's spending time with the people around me, or whether it's like providing for people around me.
yeah,
I mean, since childhood, like my parents actually raised me in a way that like I understood giving is a virtue
mm,
rather than like asking, because since I raised that way, giving back to people, or
yeah,
not even back, like just giving to people, whether it's like time of your day, whether it's just you know, food, sharing your food with some other person, or whether it's just money, you know, let's be really straight. Giving is something that makes me like really happy. For that reason, I want to be at a point in which I'm able to like provide for the people around me,
mm-hmm,
whether it's time, whether it's money, because no matter like how much you're earning, no
yeah,
matter how many free time you have, uh, if people that you want to spend time with doesn't have the same opportunities like you do,
yeah,
you're not gonna be on the same boat no matter what, right? Because like I'll be honest, if my twin brother is just going to work the next day and he has to work like until 9 p.m., or if we're not living in this exact like same country, we're only able to like see each other for 1 week, no matter
yeah,
if I have time, no matter if I have money. So I just want to be at a point in which I build things with the people around me,
yeah,
rather than just building things on my own and sharing the fruits with the loved ones,
yeah.
but actually incorporating people around me into what I'm doing. So it became like a huge family and also a huge company at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And also, I like the sense. I think what you said is that you got it from childhood or from your parents, that giving is a virtue.
Mhm.
I love that one, actually. I think that's very nice. Also, in the Netherlands, I think, let's speak for myself. I love it when I can just help out, even if it's a random stranger on the street. If I see, hey, can I help your bags? Those kind of very little things of giving, that definitely is a virtue. And I feel immediately rewarded of like, I'm enjoying the act of doing
Yeah.
without needing an actual reward, because this inner joy is my reward. The question that I come up with is, do you find big differences in culture? And also, like, you mentioned giving is a virtue. Are there things from your background that you
Hmm.
think that definitely shaped me and were really beneficial, that you might even see that it's different for Dutch people?
Um, I mean, not necessarily. I think it's about being human,
Yeah.
rather than like coming from a certain culture or a
Mm-hmm.
certain nationality. I think it's about being human because what I realize, the reason I love this country so much is basically people.
Yeah.
Because like when I first moved here, a lot of people just helped me out. You know, just random strangers on the street when
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find my way out to school or whatever the campus. Everyone just helped me out. A random old lady on the street, or like recently, my uncle and his family just visited me. We were really close, and you know the escalator wasn't working at the time in the I think
Yeah.
central station. Yeah, so we're just gonna take the train to the airport, and some random person like asked my uncle to help him out with the luggages, and he was like, "Wow, I mean, I like these people," and I
Ah.
was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm living here. Like, I just, you know." As I say, it's not necessarily about like coming from a certain nationality, but what I feel is that like Dutch people are quite close in terms of like valuing like giving and valuing the relationships because people smile here, and when you smile like to each other,
Yeah.
something comes off like comes out of it, whether it's just asking for something. Because when I'm smiling at you on the street and you're smiling at me, I'll just say hi, or if you have like some carry-ons or whatever, I'll just ask you to help you, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's, I think, something quite funny, but also like quite enjoyable
Yeah.
in terms of like living here and being a part of the Dutch culture.
Ah. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely like to smile and say hi to people
Yeah.
too. I think that's very enriching, just these simple things. And you mentioned indeed, um, being human is for you the cornerstone.
Hmm.
Um, is there anything you feel like, maybe to a younger version of yourself or to anyone listening, that you feel like this is what I want to give to you about being human? What was beneficial for you? If you, or if you would have like a 10-year younger version of yourself, what would you say in order to be fully human?
I mean, you ask like what I want to give to my
Younger
old
self.
version.
Yeah. If you say, like,
Um,
if it's about fully being human or whatever comes up.
Let me think. I think I don't know. Just I think I'm on the right path, as I said. So I'm quite happy where I ended up.
Yeah.
The only thing I could advise like my younger self in terms of giving would be like giving more time to people around you so that like you can. So let me just put it this way. So graduating from high school and living together with like 5 6 people for 5 years,
Yeah.
I felt like I was at the top of like having friendships, and these friends I had was enough and were the real people that I wanted to be with.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming here, I just focused too much on the work and the studying and stuff like that. So I didn't give the time that like strangers deserve, right?
Mm.
Like if you want to be friends with someone, you first need to give your time like to that person so that you can know each other, like
Yeah.
we're doing right now.
Yeah.
uh I didn't do that too often, I guess.
Okay.
So I believe everybody deserves at least a few minutes of time from some other stranger's life, um, as I said, whether it's being high on the grocery store, or just being at the in the same class and just sharing the homework or something like that. I
Yeah.
think everyone deserves at least 1 minute of others' time, and I didn't give that time to a lot of people, I guess. So that would something I would change
To
if
give
I
more time.
yeah, to have more opportunities to know more people.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I can feel you. Um, I think actually already it feels like pretty round. I get your message about
Hmm.
you want to focus on being human. What is important to you, and that is your building stone to, yeah, how to be human, and then you become successful in your business as well. That is like a follow up. Is there anything you feel like you still want to bring in? You feel like, hey, I want to dive into this. I want to share about this, or
Um, so I think like a message from me to other people.
could be, yeah,
Um, like if you wanna start something,
yeah,
if you wanna chase something, just like don't be scared to try it because everyone has some spare time every day. Like we're like looking at like TikTok for maybe like 2 3 hours every day, and some other social media platforms. Like I don't know if it's like super related to our topic, but I don't know how many people are gonna watch this, but even just one of them kind of like take this as a message, I would be
that's
really
enough.
happy.
Yeah,
So if you wanna try something, just look at your screen time first, okay? Before saying I don't have time to do this,
yeah,
look at your screen time because that's what I did. I just realized I was spending 10 hours on my phone every day, and
wow,
I was like, if I just cut like 3 hours of it, it will be like more than enough to change something or start with something that I want to start with, right?
yeah,
And that's how I started like going to gym and lifting, and since then I've been like stuck to it.
uh-huh.
At some point it became like a regular thing that I do my daily life, as much as like scrolling on your phone or scrolling on social media, because we don't realize, but these became like habits. And if we can actually like change these habits to things that we want to do or start with, I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be our next habit, and it
Mm-hmm.
will be way easier to continue with. So, and the other thing, once you start with it, just be stuck with it, and keep doing it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe 5 years without expecting any results. Because if you start one thing with like results mindset, like I
Yeah.
want to start doing this because I want this end result, then it would be kind of like unbearable to do it without having any success for 2 3 years. But if you start something for the sake of it without thinking too much of the results
Yeah.
or the monetary side, then you can just keep going, like keep doing it. And in the end, if you keep doing it for something, like keep doing something for 2 3 years, success will be inevitable, I guess. So
Ah, interesting. I also used Indian scripture a lot. It's called the Bhagavad Gita. For me, it describes the journey of our consciousness,
hmm
and it also said about taking action. Like you have the right to the action, but not to the fruit of the action.
hmm
So when you want to start something, just do it and find joy in in the act of doing, and not in the result.
oh yeah,
That it's
absolutely.
about the process. Even though if you feel big time or you become really successful, it doesn't matter. It's about you taking the action that you think you need, and then you will grow along the way. Because once you take one step, you don't know if the next step is going to be right or left. Only when you take that step, and then there's another.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like you, I mean, if you started this podcast like with a need of like instant success, or being like, I don't know, having like million followers
yeah,
so that you can start monetizing it and stuff like that, I don't think like you would. I think you have like 26 episodes or 26 videos on your YouTube channel at
less,
this
way
at this
less.
moment.
At this moment, for the podcast, only 6.
Oh, for the podcast. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you wouldn't keep doing it, right? For that
Mm.
reason,
Yeah.
I think it's super important to enjoy the ride, the journey, so that you can keep doing it for like a prolonged time period.
Yeah.
And in the end, what you need is doing the same thing for a long time, so that you become proficient, and you create something that other people need.
Mm. Yeah, and I feel like rounding up that part. Also, what you mentioned with, I'm not sure who's gonna listen to, but if I can get only one,
Mm-hmm.
like lately, I assisted in a breathwork session for a big company with a
Yeah.
former guest of the podcast. His name is
Mm-hmm.
Karsten, and he also told me like we had a group of 70 people, I was well, okay, yeah, I think some felt it, some not. And he said, if only one person in the room can feel the effect, then I think it's a success.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, that's such a great measure of success. If we share this podcast and make it, and there's only one person that can feel like, oh yeah, this benefited, then I'm like, okay, then is the success. It totally changes my mindset on, oh, how many people listen to the podcast or how many followers I have on social media too. If this can touch one person, then I know it worked. And even bring it back to the process, if I feel you when you share this, then I know it's working for me, so I'm growing.
Yeah.
And then regardless of who is listening, I know it's working, and that is I like that.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
that's when I feel like, okay, now I'm on the right track basically.
Yeah.
My mind can easily get sometimes be attached to the outcome, what I said, how many people listen, how many people watch it on YouTube, but then not take that as my motivation or a guideline of whether it's a success or not, but more these internal things.
Yeah, I mean, to give like a personal experience, like with my YouTube, I have like a really small YouTube channel as well. I mean, when I first started, I was of course like thinking of like, am I gonna get like maybe 1,000 followers by the end of this year, or like maybe like 10,000 next year, something like that. And while editing my videos, I realized like, just searching for the right music and finding it and placing right under the the video track on the I don't know, the whatever editing software you're using. Like when it clicks, like when you watch it, it feels like, damn, like that feeling is unbeatable. And at some point I felt like I'm just doing this for the sake of like experiencing this, how can I say this, yeah, that's it feeling.
Yeah.
And now I don't really care about like how many people watch it. Like, I mean, it gives me the enjoyment that I'm looking for, and it's not feeling like homework.
No.
I'm doing it because I enjoy it. And I feel like, I mean, since I enjoy it, I'll do it for like a prolonged period of time. And at some point, if people like enjoy it or resonate with it, it will probably get like a few more followers. If not, I enjoyed it. I didn't lose anything. It didn't feel like a homework to me. So yeah, I think that's it. That's about like enjoying the ride, the journey, so that you can do it for a long time. If you need success, if you don't need the success, you can just do it for the sake of having some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
It's like going for a like mountain biking session, or going for like a climbing, or for like a, I don't know, camping session. Like you don't look for an end result. Like, I mean, you don't need to be a professional climber or anything by the end of that session, but you're still doing it because you enjoy it, right? Because of the feeling that you experience doing that thing. So it's the exact same thing. If you're still looking for the end result will eventually come. But if you don't do it while if you don't enjoy it while doing it, I think the end result that you're looking for would be kind of like hard to achieve.
Would be kind of what?
Hard to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, then I would still have a beautiful end result, but if it didn't enjoy the journey, what's the true worth of it?
Yeah. And I think like what you said is like 100% right, but I also believe that like if you're doing something and you're hating it at the same time, like I don't know how people succeed with that type of setup,
Yeah.
Like if you don't enjoy it, like how are you supposed to do it? I don't know, in a successful way, right? I think that there are probably like some examples of these, but I can't really get it, At some point, you'll probably eventually quit if you don't like it. So
Yeah, and I think that's like basically the message of learn to enjoy the process, because sometimes things like starting a podcast or a YouTube channel also come with a lot of challenges or situations. Those are part of the process. They also help me grow. Things that I might be afraid of at first, of how do I do this thing, and will the sound be right, and then I make a mistake. First episode I didn't have the camera on the guest, that was like not filming, so I'm like, okay, this is part of the ride, and then we get better at it, and it's also more fun. It becomes easier.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. With everything that you're doing, like it, in the YouTube case, I mean, my first video, as I said, like before the podcast, it
Mm-hmm.
took like 3-4 hours to just shoot it.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
just even editing, because like you don't know what angles work the best. You don't know like how your face looks, or
Yeah.
you don't know like which shots are gonna bring the most enjoyment while editing it. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and after doing it for like 3-4 times, you start to get, yeah, if I place the camera here, it will look absolutely like a banger. While editing it, I'll enjoy it so much. So it became like way easier every time that I record a video. um, Once I continue it, right? It's the exact same thing for whatever you're doing with your life, whether it's studying. If you I mean, I don't like assume that everyone watching this wants to build a business
Yeah.
or wants to do some extraordinary things, but whether if it's like just studying, passing the exam so that you can graduate at the
Yeah.
time you want. I mean, if you can create kind of like a schedule that you follow consistently, I think if you work, I don't know, let's say your goal is to study 7 hours today. If you can do it today, just not worrying about tomorrow's work, you get it done today and you start the next day, a fresh day. Your aim is to study 7 hours again. You don't care about if you're gonna be able to do this tomorrow either. You just get done with that day and you
Yeah.
try to do the same thing the third day. Then you realize it became like a habit.
Ah.
It's way easier to do.
Yeah.
That's something that I experienced with waking up early. I mean, I was like, I should start probably waking up early. And then I was like, I mean, am I gonna be doing this for like a long time, or is it just gonna be like a 1 week thing, right?
Yeah.
Then I started waking up early the next
What
day,
is early?
um, 6:30,
Oh yeah.
because like I was waking up at 10.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You're still on the student vibes.
yeah.
Welcome to working life.
Yeah. So I just wake up at 6:30. I was like, I mean, yeah, done it. Like, done with it. Let's not care about tomorrow's work. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to wake up early tomorrow, but let's not focus on it. Right. We're done with today's work, which
Yeah.
is waking up early. Tomorrow I did the same thing. The other day I did the same thing, and eventually it became like a easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get yourself like consistency, I think that's the key to everything. No matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you can get consistent with something, I think it's the absolute guaranteed way of succeeding with that thing that you're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. I think that's a key component indeed.
Mhm.
Consistency, that is,
Mhm.
especially in changing habits.
Mhm.
I think they even have a rule. Maybe it's indeed 3, that if you do something like 3 times in a row, that our brain pathways are like changing,
Yeah.
and you get used to it, and it's just like almost going automatically.
Yeah, and I think there's this one saying as well. Like, if you can do something for 21 times or 21 days,
Yeah.
I think it's just
Oh,
21
yeah.
times. Then you can do it forever, something like that.
Ah.
But I feel like 3 is the key. Like, once you do it something 3 times in a row, like
Yeah.
the fourth time is like way easier. It's about like doing I mean, it's the same with doing cold showers as well. The
Yeah.
first day is unbearable. The second is yeah, still so hard. The third so hard, but the fourth becomes like way easier because you stop thinking about it.
Well, there's always this moment just before it's getting cold. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no, and then
Yeah.
it comes. So, oh yeah.
But like it becomes easier to wake up
Yeah.
and go to shower.
Yeah.
When it's your first time to do it, you wake up, or you're like, should I do it?
Mm-hmm.
And after third time, the fourth morning, you wake up and you feel like you find yourself in the bathroom right away without thinking about it. So
Yeah, it's not. Then it just goes, and you're like, you're just enjoying the ride or
Yeah.
not, but you're just doing it.
100%.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the consistency key part, I think, and also in business, but also in these things,
Yeah.
just showing up, even though if there's a day we don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
to keep doing it.
I
Because-
mean, it's so easy to find excuses to not
Yeah.
do it. I mean, it's so easy to not put the tripod here and, just looking at your phone or just going out, hanging out. Like, it's so easy.
yeah,
But, I mean, if you're doing the easy thing, like, you shouldn't expect anything extraordinary. Like, whether it's enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
Enjoying something should be extraordinary as well. Because if you enjoy, like, no one is enjoying everything that they're doing, right?
No.
Do you enjoy,
Illusion.
like, sitting on your sofa, like, scrolling? I mean, you get the dopamine out of it, but you
Yeah.
don't necessarily enjoy it, right?
I don't feel true joy. No.
Yeah, yeah. So enjoying it something extraordinary as well. And if you pick the right path, you're not gonna, experience that extraordinary enjoyment either. So
I
yeah,
think it's also the other way around for me. That I
Yeah.
learned to enjoy just sitting in the couch without scrolling
mm-hmm.
and just being home.
Yeah,
And learn to enjoy, especially the very basic things. And also what you mentioned before.
yeah,
Learn to enjoy the time with family and make
Mhm.
that valuable instead of just another obligation to do.
yeah. But I absolutely think that, like, enjoying something, I don't know if you're on the same page with me on this, but I
We'll
feel
see.
like enjoying something has a cost as well.
Ah.
I mean, yeah,
How
like,
do you mean? Yeah.
yeah, being home, not doing anything, and being able to enjoy it
Yeah.
is absolutely a good thing and something everyone should master. But the reason that you're able to enjoy it is probably because you're done with the day's work, or you're done with, like, some other things that's having, like, a space in your mind. Because if you don't have the mind space, no matter if you're sitting on your couch or if you're doing something absolutely enjoyable, you're not gonna feel any enjoyment out of it. So the cost of enjoying something is being able to focus on that thing. And being able to focus on that thing has another cost, which is, leaving things out of your mind that are having some unnecessary space. And that can be costly as well. You might need to do some extraordinary things again to take that thing out of your mind.
What do you seem extraordinary?
Like, for instance, let's say, I'll just give
Yeah.
examples to make this easier to
Yeah.
fathom. Like, let's say you have too much work, or you, like, I'll give you the simplest example. Okay,
Yeah.
you have no money, literally no money, and you have to pay the next month's rent
Yeah.
in 3-4 days,
Yeah.
and you're sitting on your couch. Are you still able to enjoy it the way you enjoy it right now?
Probably I'm worrying about, I need to get money.
Yeah, exactly. So to have the true enjoyment, even from, like, sitting on your couch, not doing anything, you should probably, like, take that rent thing out of your mind, right?
Uh-huh.
How do you take it out of your mind? By probably paying it.
Yeah.
This is, like, super simple and probably, like, not too in depth, like,
Yeah, but
example.
It's very basic. Yeah, example.
But let's say you're a student,
yeah.
and in 2 days you have an exam, like a super important exam that's gonna, decide on if you're graduating or not next month. And you didn't really study for it. You didn't do anything. And you want to enjoy something with your friends. In my case, like, if I'm going out and we're doing something enjoyable, if I'm worrying about something else, let's say the exam 2 days later, I can't really enjoy it that much. And enjoy the cost of enjoying it is first getting done with that, like, mind space, taking that part out of your mind and having, like, a clear mind. And how do you have, like, a clear mind? You just first, like, get done with the exam thing or study for it so that you feel fulfilled, and you take that out of your mind, put it on the table, and you do the thing that you're doing with a clear mind so that you can enjoy it.
Yeah, so basically in the exam case, you first start studying, right?
Yeah.
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 Just take care of your stuff. If you're worrying about paying your rent or you're worrying about studying, go and work, go and study, and then when you did the thing you actually need to do, then you feel fulfillment.
Yeah, and then you come here on the couch.
Yeah.
You just sit and feel the enjoyment. I mean, this actually reminds me of the idea, like, so if last year I had, like, a pretty rough exam period.
Yeah.
And one of our, like, family friends came here for work, and also he just, visited me. So we were spending, like, a really good time. And so I just had to study, and I had no time because I was assisting him with the work stuff as well. They were having, like, a fair here, so I was just helping them out. And I basically realized I need to get done with this thing. Yeah. So I just started like studying on the train, just going there and going back home, studying. So I was getting done with the work part when I was on the road, and I was focusing on the enjoyment part, like doing the fair and enjoying it when I was in the fair.
Yeah.
And one morning, I just wake up. I still have a lot to study, right? I was waiting for the tram,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun was up. It was like a pretty nice morning, and I felt like, damn, like I wish I didn't have the exam,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
would enjoy this moment so much because there was this exam thing taking up like huge space in my mind. I couldn't really enjoy that sunny, like beautiful morning. And then if after a few days, I just like got done with it, and I experienced the exact same morning. A few days later, the sun was up. I was waiting for the tram, and it was like absolutely amazing. The breeze was out there, and I felt like, oh yeah, this feels so nice.
Mm. Yeah.
This morning is a beautiful morning. I'll do this and this and this and that. And I truly enjoyed that moment. But when I had this like whole thing in my mind, the exam thing, I couldn't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think like to kind of like sum this up, for someone to get the true enjoyment out of something, person should probably first pay the cost of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can just truly enjoy it. So in my personal opinion, like enjoyment has a cost as well, and you first gotta pay for it.
Yeah. There has to be a sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because there's almost nothing that's truly worth it without a sacrifice at some part. Yeah. That's what I said again. It's laying there on the table. This little scripture of the Bhagavad Gita is especially pointing to all these things. Like, take the action, but don't be also attached that maybe you don't have the enjoyment, but the enjoyment is in taking the action.
Mm-hmm.
That there lies your enjoyment.
Yeah.
Um, maybe I should even start a course again with that thing, because that truly inspires me. But it's funny to hear a different person from a different angle, but seeing the same things, like the same mechanisms at work that you experience. I use the word sacrifice, you use the word cost.
Mm-hmm.
There is a cost before I can enjoy. Like, the other way around is I scroll on my phone and get the quick dopamine, but the cost is then I feel shit afterwards.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I might have to push myself a bit, and then I feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
It's
So, I mean, do you actually like? I mean, I feel this way, but do you also feel like after like a long day of work? I mean, whether it's your personal things or
Yeah.
some other things, I don't know. You get done with the things, and then you like sit on your couch or on your bed, like lay down on your bed, like you feel so fulfilled, and like
yeah,
you enjoy that moment so much. I mean, like within this like a month. So what we were doing, my twin is still studying
yeah,
at university. So they had their like final exam week, and we just had to go to the library all the time, every single day. And we were going to the library early in the morning, coming back at like, I don't know, 11, 12 p.m. in the night, every single day. And I was doing my work as well. So he was doing his work, which is studying. And after that, like we were sitting together with his roommate as well. We were like having like a conversation for 2-3 hours.
yeah,
And those like 2-3 hour periods were like extremely enjoyable. Now I'm like looking back, if we were to go out every single day and again like have those conversations, I don't really think that I would enjoy it as much as I did those
Yeah.
like after getting done with the work and doing our responsibility. I think like that's the case with every other thing in life.
yeah. It just becomes more valuable once all other things are done. Like,
Yeah.
when it's really like you're not doing it for the sake of postponing something else,
Mm-hmm.
but like, okay,
Yeah, that's the right word.
yeah, like I postpone cleaning up my room because I want to enjoy and I'm gonna meet a friend.
Yeah.
But it even feels better if I take this little bit of discomfort in the short term. That's maybe the
Eat the
popular
frog first, huh?
saying. Yeah, exactly. Like, short term pain, long term gain, or the other way around. Short term gain, long term pain. That if I just clean first, then it's more enjoyable to do whatever else in this room.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, just the basic thing, even though I don't like to swear, but just get your shit together and you'll feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to feel better without working on your basic things first.
Yeah. I mean, we just like focus too much on this, but It's the same with running as well. I mean,
Yeah.
running was something like sounded like super hard to me.
Yeah.
Even today, like I don't do it like on consistent basis, but like when I did my first run, I just came back home as always, like a regular day. I have things to do. Everything that I did felt more like enjoyable, you know?
Yeah.
Because I did eat the frog first,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and now I can enjoy the meal. Even though like I mean, the day wasn't like super enjoyable, but that dopamine that I received from doing the hard work was enough for the whole day, you know?
Yeah.
I think if one was to kind of like come up with I don't know, conclusion out of this,
Yeah.
I think it would be just, you know, whatever you want to do, whether it's hard, whether it's easy, just take one action. Um, whether it's like a good thing or you like manage to, you know, succeed with it in the short term period. Let's say you want to create like a YouTube video and your
Yeah.
first YouTube video was a banger. Oh, good for you, you know?
Yeah.
If not, you will still feel way better compared to not doing it. And when the day comes, you know, on the exact same date, you don't have a YouTube video yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not about the outcome, it's about taking the step.
yeah.
About I made the video. That was the result.
Yeah,
Regardless.
because, I mean, the regret is, I think, something unfathomably huge thing, you know?
Ah.
Like, I mean, you can't just bypass the feel of, you know, regret. You can just bypass like every other feeling, like feeling sad, feeling happy.
How you can bypass.
I mean, if you're feeling sad, I mean, not bypassing it, but
Yeah.
if you're feeling sad about something, you can just, you know,
Allow
share the thing with
sadness. Oh, yeah.
some other person, and you start talking, and you start to get the point of that person,
Yeah.
and you start to feel better somehow, right?
Uh-huh.
Not 100% bypass it, but kind of like improve it.
It
Like,
can help process it.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're happy, you can absolutely bypass it by doing an absolutely shitty thing, you know.
But
You can suddenly become really sad even though you're happy right
oh
now.
yeah.
That's super easy as well.
That's human.
But regret, oh, I mean, it's something that messes up with human minds so bad, you know. Just regret, like no matter if you go out, hang out with people, it eats you inside, you know.
Yeah. I shouldn't have done, or I should
Yeah,
have done.
Yeah. I should have done or I shouldn't have done. Like,
Yeah.
I think the first one you say is way worse. I mean, I had the chance, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't have the chance. I
yeah.
should have done it. You know, I think it's the worst type of regret.
It seems like you have experience with this one, or
Yeah, I mean, all day, every day. You know. Yeah.
all day, every day, but you're still sitting here smiling. So
Yeah.
it's part of the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a pretty awesome like conclusion, because I don't know, like no one is unique, I guess. Everyone has similar type of you know, experiences, you know, whether it's good or bad. Like, I mean, we feel like, let's say personally, I feel like in a pretty shitty position,
Yeah.
or I'm feeling super sad. I mean, I'm not the only one experiencing the exact same feeling, you know. There is some other person who lost like a really important thing, like
Yeah.
whether it's someone or something. So everyone is just feeling the exact same thing. Just the timing is different, you know. No one is all the time happy, or no
Yeah.
one is all the time sad. We're all same. Just timing is different, and we should be aware of this. And if you look at this way, I mean, knowing that we're all same, we're all experiencing the exact same feelings, it brings kind of like comfort to mind, and you realize this is just part of the journey.
Yeah.
And I'm at this part of this journey, and that person is that part of the journey, but the journey is the same.
Yeah.
Eventually you end up in the same place, which is graveyard. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
super
And
negative thing
no,
to
not
say.
at all. That's the one basic thing we all share as human beings.
Yeah,
We are born and we
Yeah.
die.
yeah,
And what we do in the meantime is what makes it valuable or not.
yeah,
And then hopefully we don't do too many things, or don't not do too many things that we eventually regret.
yeah,
Because I think that's the worst. Like, being old and then regret things about your life and not feel able to change or do them anymore.
Yeah, I feel the exact same thing, and I was about to touch on that, but
Yeah.
I felt like it might be kind of like a negative thing to
No, not at
say.
all. I
But
would say welcome. I sometimes even ask the question to people how they feel about dying, about
yeah,
that process. So I think that's highly undervalued in society, death,
yeah,
at least in Western Dutch society.
yeah. So the thing is, like, enjoying the moment. Like, this is
Yeah.
quite related to that. Now I look back, like, high school was incredibly enjoyable for me. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed, like, I couldn't enjoy every single minute of it, but I wish I enjoyed, like, I was like more conscious
Mm-hmm.
about the experiences that I was having, hanging out with friends, not having too many responsibilities besides just studying.
Yeah.
And those days were like extremely enjoyable. And
Not so many worries about
yeah,
life. Yeah.
then now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, I wish I enjoyed it more. I wish I was like more conscious. I wish I didn't really care too much about some unnecessary things
Yeah.
or just a random number on the paper, and I enjoyed those moments more.
Yeah.
I think,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's about, I think, like being aware of it,
Yeah.
not really worrying about it,
Yeah.
just being aware of it, and for the next part of your life, just trying to eventually avoid saying I regret not doing it.
Yeah. And to me, two things in what you share. Because first you say, I really enjoyed high school.
Yeah,
Then you say, when I'm older, I wish I enjoyed it more.
yeah,
But I think that state is now your consciousness has broadened. So your broad way of perception is also greater. You couldn't
hmm
have that same sense of depth when you were in high school because you weren't able to perceive life
yeah,
so deep yet.
yeah,
So I would also see this as a sign of growth.
hmm
Like in high school, you experience joy up to, let's say, this amount,
hmm
and now you're older and it can stretch out more.
yeah,
So knowing that, seeing that, looking back, oh, I wish I could have enjoyed it so much in high school. You enjoyed it to the maximum capacity that you had, and
yeah.
now you are growing, so you can enjoy it more.
What you're saying is like super relatable to what I'm feeling recently, which is, I think, it's growing. It's called growing,
Yeah,
but also once the number of problems increases,
yeah,
right? Once you have more problems,
uh huh,
those small things that you never enjoyed before,
yeah,
like, become way more enjoyable
yeah,
and become like way more meaningful.
yeah,
And for instance, like driving in my hometown, like randomly driving,
yeah,
now means so much to me. Like,
yeah. Instead of just getting from A to B because we have
yeah,
to. Yeah,
yeah. At the time, it wasn't that meaningful, but I think it's also a good thing, growing.
yeah,
But the growing also, you know, goes parallel to having like more problems. I think,
discomfort where we grow.
yeah,
Like the uncomfortable zone becomes our comfortable zone, and
yeah,
then we know we grow.
yeah,
And then you can take a bigger frog to eat,
yeah,
or a bigger step on the mountain to wherever you're going.
yeah. So it's like having more problems is, now I just came into realization as well. Having more problems is kind of like a good thing, rather than being like
Definitely.
because you understand the value of those small things more. And if you're still able to do those small things, even though like not all the time, if you're just able to do those like time to time, let's say a certain period during the year,
Yeah.
it can be camping, for instance, or winter camping. Now you can do it next year, and you can be more conscious about it. I think it's absolutely incredible, like that. Yeah, that's something. Now I'm realizing, like, if I didn't have that many problems that day,
Yeah.
like so many things to worry about, maybe that sunlight wouldn't really mean too much to me.
Uh-huh.
But the next day, when I got done with the whole thing, I was able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I didn't have the problems the other day, I wouldn't even care about it. And on the exact same day, once I'm done with the exams and stuff like that,
Yeah.
again, it wouldn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But
It's like the discomfort or let's say problems, situations in life that challenge you, make you appreciate more the things we do have that we otherwise would have taken for granted.
Yeah.
Like as a child with worrylessness driving through town. Yeah, okay, where's the next thing we can do? Instead of now you drive through town, you'd be like, yeah, it's actually beautiful here. And
Yeah.
what an honor to enjoy this ride. And I think that is, then you can get this sense of appreciation for life. To me, that seems like being on the right track. But there even, that is where I focus on more. There can be a sense of curiosity to the most ordained things in life. Like, ooh, what's going to happen? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, just I was in my hometown, as I said. Like, I was in like a really small, local primary school,
Yeah.
and now I just like moved around that high school, and I just saw like kids, with their backpacks, like walking.
Yeah.
That feeling was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, like, I mean,
Pure joy of seeing them.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I had like a perfectly like happy life or no problems at all, I wouldn't probably enjoy that at all. Like, who cares, right? But that small thing actually brings you to that day in which you were like a real small kid,
Yeah.
and you didn't have those problems, and it kind of like brings you a how can I say,
It brings you back in a childlike
yeah,
consciousness.
childhood, but it also unconsciously brings you some inner peace, I guess, without you being aware of it.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, that's why they say like kids and pets are great teachers.
Yeah.
Because they're just free, they don't worry. And then we get back in touch with that. And we're just like, we forget all the worries and we can play again. So when I see like my neighbor kids, I'm so excited when I see them. Because their attention span goes everywhere. And that's the thing as an adult, we can focus so we can take right actions. But they can have just this wonder sense of life and enjoyment and play and be like, okay, this is fun.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is what the great masters used to say. Like, be like a child, and in that sense, that just be free to experience life in this childlike manner. And then it's not that it needs to be like this, so you become so stiff, because then there's no space to enjoy the simple things in life.
I think it's also about like, I think everyone kind of has their own share of having like a wind down moment of the day.
Yeah.
Whether it's like doing something you like, or whether it's just, sitting on the couch and watching some Netflix before you sleep.
Yeah, fair
I think
enough.
everyone has their like own wind down hour or wind down moment or something like that every single day. And I've been like lacking this for so long. And there were things that I wanted to do like on every like daily basis. For instance, going there, going like doing this, cooking, doing whatever. And I was always like skipping those because like, oh, I mean, I don't care, let's just do the work.
Yeah.
Or it felt like it would just keep me away from focusing more on my work.
Yeah.
But recently I realized like, if I want to do something, I mean, of course, like if I have a shit ton of things to do, I don't really just get the plane ticket and go to a holiday. Of course, I'm not meaning that, but let's say it's just a small thing, cooking.
Yeah.
Stop the work, just cook that thing.
Take your time.
Yeah, wind down, and you can just continue with the work again. And if you don't do it, I personally did it. I personally experienced it for a like prolonged period of time. I can absolutely say that at some point it will just start messing up your mind and your self-consciousness. How can I say it? You
need your self-care.
Yeah, it will absolutely like start messing up with those, and you will feel like pretty down, I guess.
It's what you started the conversation with.
Yeah.
It's the basic principles first in order to perform in your business.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have time to unwind, to eat, to rest, to just take care of yourself. Otherwise, you can work as much as you want, but you will not get the outcome you need because the building blocks are not sufficient.
Exactly. I mean, what else to say on that? I mean, just be aware of what you have right now. Just try to enjoy everything that we have more. And I think that way everyone would be at a more peaceful level. And yeah, that's what we need in life, I guess, for not 100% of the people around here, but yeah, for most people out there, I
It
think
will be really beneficial.
yeah.
I think that's a nice one to round it up.
Yeah.
It feels complete to me. Or is there any final thing you would like to share to add to this?
Yeah, I think it felt complete to me when you rounded like what we said, like
Yeah.
for like maybe half an hour to
Yeah.
what we started with, and I felt like, yeah, that's it.
Nice. Ding, ding.
Yeah.
Done. Cool. Angel, still not getting it to 100%, but close the
Yeah.
pronunciation. Thanks. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate getting to know you and hearing
Me
some of
too.
your story. And we'll see what life will bring you. I'm very curious. I hope you will may touch many people with the work you do.
Yeah,
And
hopefully.
may you have an amazing life. And may we all have
You
an
too,
amazing
man. I
life.
totally like appreciate you having me on here, and this conversation was like pretty enlightening to me as well. So like now I feel like what I want to do when I go back home,
Yeah.
and I think that's what matters in the end. Like just coming into like small realizations at a time,
Yes.
and just letting it accumulate up to like a really peaceful mind. And yeah, again, thank you for having me on. It was an amazing conversation, in my opinion.
Thanks.
And for the audience, I hope they enjoy it. And yeah, I wish you best of luck as well.
Thanks. And I think you finished it well. For a peaceful mind. Let's strive for that one.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
man.